Another weird thing about this, it was the year before my brother died, and I had cut my stay short, though to come home because I had this strong urge, gut feeling that I shouldn't be there, that I'm missing out an important time with my family.
Right.
That life is too short for me to be here, separated from my family. My brother was very proud of me going to Japan, but I ended up cutting my contract short and coming home. Right? It didn't feel right being there. Which
is funny because in the grand scheme of things, you always tell yourself, it's only a few months out of a lifetime, right?
Yeah, right.
Right, you know.
But that's another weird thing that happened before he died. Yeah. 1 week before my brother died, some strange stuff happened. My grandmother died of a stroke, and my mom hadn't had any dreams about her at all. But it was actually 1 week before he died that my mom called me in the morning and said, I had the most amazing dream. It was so vivid. Grandma was there standing at the foot of my bed. She looked so beautiful. She looked about 40. She was wearing a veil. She wasn't saying it with her mouth, but she said to me telepathically, I'm okay.
Oh, that's nice.
And she said she had always wondered because of the way she died in a stroke, and she had been sick for a long time.
If she was aware.
Talk, and so she found it so comforting. But it was strange that it was just 1 week before my brother died.
Yeah. Oh, that's hard.
So it was almost like to prepare her.
Prepare her. You know? I'm okay, so if anything else happens, they'll be fine as well.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Just that.
Especially if she couldn't verbalize if she had a stroke. Right.
Yeah. Also, my brother's mother or godmother, I should say, she told us about how a bird had she heard clicking, tapping,
the worst thing.
Tapping at the window,
tapping on the window, really?
Tapping at the window, and then a bang, and then it was a dead bird. Hit her window in the middle of the night.
Don't say that.
No, everybody knows that.
Not a week before he died. And I'd never heard. I always thought, that's like old wives' tales.
Have you seen the windows in this house?
But she told us, that's why I'm very wary of those types of things that happen.
But you know what I do when that happens? Honestly, in the last, say, 4 years, I've had 4 birds hit my window. 1 year, 3 in a row. Shit. But you know what? I go out and I bring them back to life. I pick them up.
You do?
I do.
Well, they're stunned.
And totally out of it. One of them hit. It was kind of cold and raining out, and it would have died. But I went out there and I scooped it up, and I happened to be doing laundry, and the vent was on, and I held that little birdie under that vent till he warmed up, and I let him go.
Should I call you Dr. Frankenstein?
Seriously, honest to God,
it's
such.
Good on you.
I take my kid out
there. A lot of people just say, "Oh, fuck that bird." But
no, I love my birdies.
No, good on
you. They're hitting my windows. I'm going to make that bird better and set him free.
Yeah. You're not going to die on me, damn it. Today's not your day.
I've never done mouth to mouth yet, but no.
But if I have to,
I might have to. I'll do it.
Yeah. Whatever it takes. Take one for the team.
You're an animal lover.
That's awesome. I am. Yeah, that's awesome. Me.
Yeah, and then one other strange thing that happened right before my brother died, and a friend of his told us about this after the fact, was that he got into 2 near accidents. And the one time it was a half-ton truck that nearly ran him off the road, and my brother had to pull over because he was so shaken. And my brother's friend said he came over to his house and told him what happened. He said, I've never seen John so shaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's your brother's name was John?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't say that even yet.
No, that's fine.
I didn't introduce him yet.
Whatever you want to tell us. It's completely up to you. And he had no girlfriend or anything at that time? Or
No.
Or any spouse, I should say?
No girlfriend. He was, he was pretty much of a loner.
No children? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
But,
I mean, it doesn't make it harder or easier, and it doesn't really establish anything, but just the fact being that, he was independent as far as, like, coming and going, and he did his own, what he wanted, where he wanted, when he wanted, right?
Yeah. His lifelong passion was hockey. And, like I said, he went to Notre Dame College for hockey, and he did get scouted to the Western Hockey League in Bellingham, Washington when he graduated.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And when he went out there, he was hopeful that would be, next step would be NHL, right? WHL is where they scout for the NHL.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he got into a fight in one of the games broke his hand.
Really?
Yeah. And so they sent him home to heal. And then
that's devastating.
Yeah,
all that time.
All that.
Yes, all that his whole life.
Yeah.
And sent him home to heal. with the possibility of him being able to come back. But what happened was another coach came in after that, didn't know him, wasn't part of the scouting process, and his opportunity
just
was
disappeared.
Gone. Yeah.
You ever feel like things just
Flushed
happen?
it, hey?
Things like happen for some odd reason you don't know why.
Yeah.
You have that feeling
yeah.
sometimes?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's bad or good or not, but it's like sometimes you go, if but not for the fact that this happened, the world would have been a different thing, right?
That's right.
I know.
And that was
like,
back
why?
when I was probably only 17, 18 years old. And the weird thing was that I was so nervous about his drive home.
Really?
I was like actually looking out the window, waiting for him to drive up because I was so scared of him driving home with a broken hand, his little Jeep, all across from Western Canada to get home. And that's the thing. The day of his accident, I should probably tell you about that. What happened?
Whatever you feel comfortable with, for sure.
You know, and
totally
you know,
I know it's hard because you mentioned before we started recording
it's good to heal though sometimes. You know what I mean?
It's kind of cathartic.
Yes. So what actually happened was he was driving. Like I said, that weekend for his birthday, he went to Notre Dame. He visited. He saw the college. It was a reunion weekend, and it was he was staying in Regina. And he came home. He started driving home. His friends were behind him, and he got rear-ended by a half-ton. That causes on the highway. It hit the back corner of his little Toyota and caused him to jet into the oncoming lane where there was a red semi truck speeding, barreling towards him. It was on the number 1 highway. You know, it's our main highway across the country.
Right.
But it was not a twinned highway. It was near Verdun, Manitoba, where he was coming home. And it was about 3:20 in the afternoon. He was killed instantly.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
it's a blessing, really. It is
kind of a blessing.
That's kind of what I thought at the time. And I was hoping they were being honest about it having been an instant.
For sure. Yeah. Because you hear about where they just say, "Oh, it was instant."
Yeah,
but
and then
a lot of
in your
times
head you go,
not because you hear them, you know, kind of like climatizing like the layout and stuff, and then you realize it wasn't. But if it was, like that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
You don't want your person to suffer. Like, seriously.
Did they know who the
It was an 18.
was?
Well,
the truck that hit him?
Yeah, it was an 18-year-old driving the half-ton behind him who...
Oh, shit.
What, did they pass his buddies and try and was scooting in and out?
You know
what I mean?
I have to be careful what I say because there was a big scandal around. The RCMP later told us that he had drunk half a bottle or a whole bottle of whiskey the night before. That's what his friends were saying. His witnesses were saying the night before, and he was just coming back from a all-night party. Campground somewhere, and he was
but they did test him. They didn't do breathalyzer, or
what happened was he hit my brother in the back corner. There was an RCMP up above, up ahead.
Oh, shit.
He had someone pulled over. And he saw the whole thing happen.
Right.
But he was a friend.
Like, what are the chances?
He was our local.
So he was friends to the guy that hit him.
Knew the dude in the truck.
Yeah, he said.
Oh, shitballs.
That's like a East St. Paul shit all over again, right?
Yeah. He said, "Go on home," but talked to him by his first name.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and then they went. RCMP went back after, said, "You didn't breathalyze him." 2 hours later, he blew a warning.
2 hours later.
2 hours later.
Can you imagine what it would have been?
We couldn't say anything.
No.
My mom got involved with MAD, but then there was a big scandal that we couldn't say anything. They threatened to sue MAD.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Really? Like, oh my God, somebody dies at the hands of some guy out partying, and then all of a sudden, he's the victim. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry. Like, that just incenses me to, like, no end.
No.
Like, there's just no justice in the world, no matter how you play it.
Karma there happening, right?
Well, all we know is that the medical examiner said that John was not at fault for this accident.
Right. No.
And everybody else who was involved had a piece in that, because the RCMP had someone pulled over. It was slowing down traffic. Yeah. It was a bottleneck. And people couldn't pass because he had his tires right in the lane, and it's just two lanes. That's it.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
even on top of that,
shouldn't have been doing that. And actually,
geez, like one of those common, like I said.
Yeah.
But not for all this shit.
And another
you never know, right?
Premonition we had. My boyfriend and I were driving home from Calgary, not even 2 weeks before that, and said, "Hey, did you notice that
Potentially.
Police never pull people over on this highway.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, why not? And he said, because it would be too dangerous.
Oh.
My boyfriend actually said that.
Seriously?
Really?
That they pull them off to the side. They pull
2
them
weeks
off
prior. Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah. And so that was another weird thing. But actually, so my brother wasn't at fault. These 3 other people all had a part in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, obviously that was the most devastating news of our lives.
Of course. No kidding.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was we went home to my parents' house when we got the news, and we all hugged and we all cried. I stayed over there that night, my boyfriend and I.
Just you
Sean.
2 then? You and your brother? That was all? And your mom and dad?
And we had an older brother, David, who was 10 years older than my brother, 12 years older than me.
Okay.
But my brother and I were 2 years apart. He's from my mom's first marriage.
Okay.
So,
okay. I was going to say,
his name
I was
is
just wondering if he was in there, though.
He was there. We were all hugging. We were all, his family was there. We were all weeping. And so the first sign that we got that something, the spiritual awakening, where that spiritual awakening for me began, was that very first night. It was immediate.
Yeah.
I slept on the couch. Sean slept in John's room. I was sleeping.
This was at the condo, right?
At the condo, yeah.
With the thin walls?
Yep, that's the one. I was trying really hard to fall asleep, but I couldn't stop staring at my brother's picture from high school.
And your brain is probably just going a million miles an hour.
Wait, can I ask you a quick question? Because I've had some experiences. Did you hear knocking?
Not then. Not at that time.
But you heard knocking.
Later. But
okay, I've had some.
Really?
And I've never really talked to anybody who had anybody that close that has passed, that have actually spoken in a frank manner. Like I've had the...
Really?
We have that too, sometimes.
Have you?
Very long. She wake up out of a day.
It's almost like somebody's looking for a way.
I've had experience knocking in other, like when doing the Ouija board and things like that. I've asked for signs and I've gotten knocking.
I've tried to Google it. I've tried to find like just some recognition. Can't find it. So I don't know what that is. If that's like
the knocking,
if it's one of those things that it's so taboo that nobody's talking about it.
I wonder. Seriously,
I think
because
you know what
often does that. Sorry, I just
sorry,
said
not to detract from what you're talking about. My grandfather, that was his chair there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, such a beautiful chair.
Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to retain it. You're supporting my grandmother the day that he passed or whatever. So I was kind of like sleeping in the morning at her house, sleeping here for like at least 3 days, no matter where I slept. Here or there.
Really?
Yeah.
For a way in.
To communicate.
Yeah.
Or to communicate.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. It was just sort of like a flash. Like I don't talk about it often.
Kind of thing. Yeah, I know.
It's relevant.
I think I might talk about it in my book.
Creepy Me.
Creepy Me, because I'm writing a book too about my experiences.
Your book has a name, but we do the same thing.
And then, what I want to do is I want to write a book called Creepy Me, and then everybody else's experiences, I want to call it Creepy You.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Nobody steal that, because I'll come after your ass about that.
I'll do the artwork for it.
But in any event, when Mel was just saying right now about sleeping at her mom's house, because I was sleeping at my grandmother's house, it just kind of clicked in my head. Did you hear knocking? Because that was like some way to come in. A recognition, acknowledgement. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm looking for my own answers, but I want to provide you with yours.
For
so
sure.
I just want to connect, you know?
It wasn't knocking, but it was ringing. And let me tell you the details.
For sure. Gladly.
Switch positions. I gotta get closer.
I almost need another cocktail.
Yeah, me too.
As I said, I slept on the couch. Sean was in John's bed. And I had a very hard time falling asleep. I couldn't stop staring at his picture on the mantle. And just feeling so horrible. I said, I'm so sorry this happened to you, John, you know. And I cried myself to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then that night I had a dream that the phone was ringing. And it woke me out of my sleep. To the point where
it's almost like auditory hallucinations.
Yes, exactly. Where I thought, why isn't anyone answering the phone? I actually shouted out, answer the phone.
Yeah, and there's nothing going on, really.
And then when I kind of came out into lucid state, I realized the phone wasn't actually ringing.
No.
So then the next morning, Sean comes to me and he says, I had the most amazing dream last night. And I said, yeah. And he said, the phone rang.
Wow.
And
no shit, really? You both had the same dream.
See the goosebumps all over me.
Oh my God. He said, I answered it, and it was your brother. It was John.
Oh my God.
But he answered the phone in his dream.
He answered the phone in his dream.
And you know what's really weird to me? You both dream the phone rings, only one person answers, right?
Yeah. Well, no, 2 people can't answer the damn phone, right?
Right.
See, you woke up saying, "Why doesn't answer the damn phone?" But he did answer the phone.
Wow, so, on a whole different plane.
Yeah. And he said it was my brother. He said, "Hi, Sean. What's going on? Why is everyone crying?" And Sean responded,
I didn't know.
"John, is that really you? We're crying because we were told that you died."
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
And he was